Welcome, listeners, to the Monthly Show about the scary, the spooky, and the supernatural. Get ready for the latest more.
Greetings, ghouls, and welcome to the latest 13 Pods of Horror. And as you can see on the calendar, it's once again the most famous horror date, other than Halloween, that is, Friday the 13th. And this particular day, we're going to dive into the bloody history of one of the most iconic slashers in horror, Jason Voorhees. From his humble beginnings as a waterlogged kid in the 1980s to his modern-day monstrous incarnations. We're cutting down the different versions of Jason Voorhees throughout the Friday the 13th franchise. That's right, folks. This episode will be all about Voorhees' vengeance. And we're exploring every film in the series to see how Jason's look, motivations, and killing styles have evolved over the years. We'll discuss his transformations, debate our favorites and least favorites Jasons. So, to begin with, in the original Friday the 13th from 1980, we are all aware of the storyline and all that sort of thing. How we're not dealing with Jason to begin with. Correct?
Correct. This is still my favorite Friday the 13th movie. Even regardless of its lack of Jason, it's my favorite of the whole franchise. But I love Jason. I love all the movies, but this one was the one that took itself the most seriously, I would say, as a whole.
Except for the Wisha.
The Wisha. Yeah, we'll get to that later.
You know what? I definitely would have to agree with you there. The OG is definitely, and the fact that it was that sort of like summer camp sort of twist and all that.
It was cool. It was. I mean, in its own way, it was original. in its own way. And it was a whodunit, which is not what you get the rest of the franchise.
No, for sure. Yeah. Once we get past this one, we're all like, we know who's doing this and all that sort of thing. All right. So, spoiler alert. Obviously, we are not dealing with Jason in this particular one. We are dealing with Mrs. Pamela Voorhees, who is played by Betsy Palmer in the original movie. And we're dealing with this particular character hunting down teenagers that are preparing to reopen the Camp Crystal Lake. She's basically on a revenge tour as she.
I mean, over previous decades as well, which you kind of get
exactly.
Movie, but
yeah.
She really doesn't want this place to reopen.
Definitely does not. No.
Hence the Camp Blood nickname.
Exactly. So like I said, this isn't a Jason story, but we are given inklings of Jason's backstory. Like, we don't get the full picture yet, which obviously throughout the years it evolves and changes and whatnot to fit the era that the movie happens to be in. But in this particular version, we end up with Boy Jason, yes. And for an actual first movie, it does a surprising amount of really cool and interesting kills, because we're dealing again with technology and special effects makeup from like pre-1980. We have a lot of, hey, experiment, let's see if this sort of works and all that sort of thing. So we have a lot of really cool, really kind of inventive ways of doing this. Again, we're also dealing in the early 80s where we don't have this sort of thing as a norm. So
and Tom Savini.
Yes.
Right? And you also had like a very low budget. So I think it pulled off pretty damn well.
Oh, for sure. But, anything particular kills stand out in this particular one for you guys?
For me, there's always two. Kevin Bacon.
Yep.
Okay. And
that would be Jack, isn't it?
Yeah.
Jack. Yep.
Yeah, and the axe to the face kill later.
Good old Marcy.
Marcy.
Good old Marcy.
Yes.
Yeah. Exactly.
Those are the two to me standouts.
And those actually, and actually, when you go to talk to Tom Savini about this particular movie, those
Yeah,
are the two that he's always bringing up, just how the effects is done and
there
all
you
that
go.
sort of thing. With it's just a yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. And again, you really had not seen effects like that
yeah.
before, especially a arrow coming up through the back of the throat.
Hmm.
And yeah, the goriness that's not really too gory, but gory enough to be like
Yeah, I mean,
fascinating to
I
watch.
like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
unrated cut. A little extra, but not
Yep,
still nothing crazy.
exactly, exactly. So as we as we talked about it, this movie obviously is not Jason, and the character of the killer is defeated when she gets decapitated by the
Hmm.
final girl, who is the
Oh,
character's
Alice.
name of Alice. Right,
Yes.
Alice is the final girl in the
Thought you were
first
thinking with the
movie.
actress. I had to think for a second, but yes, Alice.
No, no, the yeah, Alice is the survivor, the final
Final
girl in
girl.
this movie. Yeah,
Yeah,
who
I know.
at the very end of the movie in a dream sequence has a jump scare of the little waterlogged
Yeah, and which you don't really know. I mean,
Jason.
I guess if it's like a just dream sequence or what's going on.
Yeah, you basically yeah, it basically ends on that scene where we then jump into the sequel, which
Yeah.
basically takes place the next day, the beginning of it.
Yeah, well, right after,
Yeah,
regardless, and
exactly, exactly. Yeah,
they kind of, get rid of her in the beginning of the next movie. So,
exactly,
yeah.
exactly. So
Which
this
is
one
interesting. He
we
doesn't really talk about too much about how he like leaves Camp Crystal Lake in this one,
nope, not really. No, no.
They don't talk about how he
But
got there or what happened. Just
nope, just all of a
the
sudden shows
sack on
up.
his head just shows up in the city.
Exactly, exactly. Just for this one person, and then
Yeah,
all of a sudden we're like 5 years. We do a 5 year jump,
yeah.
all that sort of thing. So it's an
No
interesting.
getting away. I'm learning to
Yeah,
drive with one eye hole just for this.
exactly, exactly.
Maybe that's gonna be the
Now
13th movie. You don't even know.
The making, like the in between,
Yeah.
you know? How they did like
what did he
last
do for
voyage
those
of
5 years?
how they did the last voyage of the Demetra. They can do the
Yep.
same thing with
Dude,
Jason's road trip with the sack on his head.
get to
That
know
would be
him.
pretty good. That
He
would be pretty
gets his
sweet.
revenge.
Excellent. Yeah. So yeah. So we basically after he ends up killing Alice Hardy, he returns to Camp Crystal Lake to basically guard it from intruders. Then we just jump 5 years later as a group of teenagers arrive at Camp Crystal Lake to do
Yep.
some more training to be camp counselors because no one can basically. There's something about the air of this
Yeah.
place that everyone wants
Just it's
to.
the perfect location.
It
Just
is.
gotta
It
keep
really is.
trying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, what do you think of this? What do you think of Friday the 13th Part 2?
You know what?
How do you generally rank it?
It is probably. I would
Second.
have to say. Yeah, the one where he walks around with a sack. Yes, this
Yeah.
is again pre.
We watched
We're
it. We
dealing
watched it
with.
later because
Which one's the dancing one?
that's a few later.
Yeah.
That's the one with the weenie?
I would have to say of the early ones, this is probably the one that watched the least
Yeah.
because of.
Cheers.
Yeah, exactly.
This is my second least favorite.
Oh, really?
Yeah, second least favorite Friday the 13th entry.
Yeah, it seems to be. It feels like what it is. It feels like a forced sequel. It's like the
Yeah.
first one had a fantastic end and all that sort of thing, and three picks up at a great point and carries
Yeah.
on with the story.
Oh, yeah.
Great. There's something about this second one that is you always
Resets
expect.
the tone for the rest of the franchise.
It definitely does.
Yeah.
It definitely does. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not too keen on most of the cast to begin with either.
Yeah.
We do have a lot of non counselors being killed and all that sort of thing, which is
Yeah.
more than whatnot. But we do have a good, interesting sort of return for, like I said, all of a sudden out of nowhere, Jason's suddenly back, wearing a sack,
Yeah.
fully grown, and then we jump to like 5 years later and we get our story and all that sort of thing.
And you have probably I think maybe the most survivors possibly in this one, the ones that stay behind at the bar.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
You
Because
don't really get. They just don't. You don't hear about anything about like
exactly. Basically,
out of the
yeah. You're
story.
introduced. You're introduced to a lot
Three-quarters
of,
of the movie, we're getting into this character development, and then they're
and then
not.
that's it. Yeah, exactly, exactly. It seems like a lot of like filler characters and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, except for the one character who I'm sure you want to bring up.
So this is the one.
This is the one.
Okay. Oh boy. Um. Okay. I don't even know how to start this. Troy, have you seen Ratatouille?
I'm sure he has.
Yes, I have. Yes.
Okay. Who's this guy's name?
His character's name?
Yes. That's
Ted.
okay. Ted. You know who Ted
Mhm.
is? I know. who
Yes.
Ted is.
Ted is one of the survivors.
The
Yeah.
second that I think there's like is it a bar scene or like when's
This
this?
is the whole movie.
No, I know, but anyway, no, there's a specific scene though. We were watching the movie, and I
In the bar afterwards, where we
yeah, and I like blurted out laughing. I like couldn't contain myself because I swear on my life that Ted is the real life linguini from Ratatouille. If you put them side by side, I swear it's the same. They like literally made this guy based off of him. Hold on, you gonna find a picture of him?
I'm trying. Keep talking.
Well, no, that was it. I put it in my stories, like asking people if they. Like, no one responded, but like I like it. There's no way you can deny it. It's the same guy.
Yeah, I can see the similarities and all that sort of thing. Yeah, no, for sure.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
send you the
yeah.
story that I made because it was like I even like we got the right angle. Like I found a
Yeah, there was a perfect shot where it was just like bang
Nice.
on.
put it
Nice,
side
nice.
by side.
The guy that animated this must have been a fan of this movie because, like,
It's him, and like even I put it on my stories like La Festine, which is like the music from Ratatouille. Like I did the whole thing, and like anyway,
Nice.
that was, and the fact that another thing, Ahmed and I every time I tell him that someone looks like somebody else,
Okay.
9.5 times out of 10, he's like, "Are you like messed up? Like how could you possibly think?"
she's not usually very good at
Which is
this.
crazy because like I paint.
Yeah.
And he's like, how do you paint people and not know what anyone looks like? That's a whole nother question. We're not gonna get into that.
Gotcha.
But like that was the one time that he was like, "Oh my god, it's the same guy." So
Nice.
it's a very
Yeah,
special
yeah.
moment for me. Highlight of the movie for sure.
Yeah.
We do happen to have quite a few machete deaths in this particular movie. The machete becomes like a mainstay of Jason's, even though he does pick up a lot of weapons of convenience
Yeah, whatever,
throughout
like,
the series
you know,
and all that sort of thing. This is the one
around
where he
farm
first,
kind of thing he has in this one, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Not only that he actually gets basically defeated by his own machete.
Yeah.
When he is tricked into thinking that the final girl is
Mother.
the mother. Exactly. Yes.
Gets
Which
tricked.
is
Jason, I think that's like the way to defeat Jason, right? It's like, is that me? Is that my mom? Is that
exactly. One of the nice things is we actually can put basically names to incarnations of Jason, and for this particular version of Jason, we actually have quite a few different actors that portray different versions of Jason throughout the movie. We have basically like the opening sequence where we see Jason's feet is portrayed by Ellen Lutter. We got Jerry Wallace is all of the prowler shots of Jason. Stephen Dash is doing the majority of Jason, and the unmasked Jason is Warrington Gillette. So we have quite a few different separate actors and all that sort of thing portraying.
Well, we kind of skipped over the boy Jason, which
You know what? We kind of did. Yeah.
One of the most interesting ones, right?
Yeah, I guess I didn't even think of putting that out there. Yeah. So
He's got like the whole band and rock and roll look and everything, and he's still like to this day like I was boy Jason.
All right, so that moves us on to our next movie, which I think at the time of the theatrical release of this movie was pretty much a gimmick to begin with, but this originally was a movie released in 3D.
Oh yeah, and
which
you can
was
tell.
kind of cool, and you can definitely tell when you watch the non 3D version of this movie. If you're to buy any of the box sets, there's a good chance that you would have two versions of this movie, both color and the it was the green and blue. The red and blue.
I think they put it out as well with the actual like 3D Blu-ray, didn't they? At one point.
To tell you the truth, I do not.
I might have that. I'm
about
not sure.
one sort of
But I
thing.
don't have a 3D TV, so it doesn't matter.
But so it would be the polarized lenses that would be
Yeah.
linked up and all that sort of thing. That would have been cool.
Think
That would have
so.
been cool.
I don't know. I can't remember why. Well, I think for some reason that they did, but I could be.
Well,
wrong.
I do know that I have that booklet version of it, and it came with
Yeah.
2 pairs of the
Yes, I have that
Friday
one
the
too.
13th 3D.
I have that one too.
3D
and I have the
glasses
Screen
and all that
Factory
sort of
box
thing.
set.
Yeah.
I think in the Screen Factory box set they did it, but I
Oh,
gotta
really?
double
Okay.
check.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
We
Not that it
do
matters.
have.
You can't buy 3D TVs anymore, so
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So this is our first appearance of the Mask. Again, a choice by convenience. He's still sacked at the beginning and then decides to cover himself with the mask instead. I guess
Thank God
a little
for that.
more. Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Can you imagine the
exactly.
whole franchise just a guy with a sack on his head?
You know what? I don't think the sack would have been as iconic as the mask becomes, which is kind of neat.
What should he have had instead?
Sorry.
What do you think he should have had instead?
So the hockey mask? No, it's good. It's good. It's perfect. Just no sack.
Oh yeah, no, yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Like, no, like pantyhose or anything?
No, they should have just honestly, if anything, they should have made him like if they wanted to do anything. He didn't need the sack in the first one, but I don't know if they were trying to save money with the special effects or what it was, but
Yeah, because you established at the end of the first one that he had this deformed face and all that sort of thing. So you need to age that up, and then to cover it with the sack was the best that they had come up with, and then they invented the hockey mask works a little better and looks a little more iconic, which it totally does.
yeah, and you can see.
Exactly. Yeah. The defeated Jason from the previous movie is able to remove the machete from his shoulder, and he basically finds his way to a local homestead where he terrifies the teenagers in the area. This is where he picks up his hockey mask from an actual victim of his.
Yep.
And then he basically goes on a killing spree like normally does. So we
What was
got
his first kill in the mask? Was it the spear gun?
his first meat cleaver, Harold. It's Harold who he gets meat cleaver to the chest.
Okay. there you go.
Then
All right.
Edna gets the knitting needles to the back of the head. What's next? There's a pitchfork, isn't there?
What about the
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 spear
gun?
is
The spear gun, isn't that?
yeah.
like,
The
right
spear
after
gun
you-
is like okay. So it's okay. It's meat cleaver to the chest, knitting needle to the back of the head.
Okay.
There's I think 2 pitchfork deaths.
Okay.
Cannoli in the theater.
Someone dies off screen, and then I think it's the spear.
Okay. For some
Fired
reason, I
into
thought
the
the spear
eye.
gun was when he got the mask, but I'm wrong. I think.
No, it's after he has because
Okay.
it's an open. I can see it now. It's an open shot. He's on the dock, standing by the little pole there,
Yeah,
and then
'cause
all of a
she
sudden his
thinks
hands
that
wrapped
it's-
around.
She thinks that it's the prankster originally, right?
Yes, but oh wait, now I'm confused. But yeah, the spear. The spear is once he already has the mask.
Yeah, like his first kill in the mask. Is what
Yes.
I was thinking. But
Yes,
don't know,
I
could
think
be-
you're right. I
okay.
think you're right with that. Yes, yeah. And then we do some more machetes, and then some knives, and even like an electrocution.
Yep.
And this is I think the first appearance of the head squeeze, which is kind of nice.
Yep.
Near the endish of the movie, he squeezes what's the kid's name? Rick, I think it is. Yeah,
I think
we'll
so.
go with Rick. I think Rick. I have the names like off in my head somewhere,
I'm
and
not
it's
gonna
like
lie. I do not remember the names of all of.
yeah,
the
no, that's
victims
yeah,
and
exactly.
counselors,
I
but
had
I'm pretty
Harold.
Sure Rick is your guy.
Yeah, no, I had Harold and Edna written down as
Yeah.
my first kills in the movie and all that sort of thing. It's the only reason I came up with Harold and Edna. But yeah, I think we'll go with it being Rick and all that sort of thing. And then we get so like I said, his return is he recovers from the injury that stopped him in the previous movie.
Yeah.
But he's defeated this time with an axe to the head. Mm-hmm. And throughout the majority of this movie, we have Richard Brooker as being Jason, whereas the particular stood out for the stunt performance of the hanging scene is Mike DeLuna. So I don't have any more information about. Obviously, when you're dealing with a character like this, you can throw any sort of stuntman into any sort of thing and all that sort of thing. But so we got those two guys as the primary Jason. And that's going to bring us up to the final chapter, which is, I believe, the beginning of the Tommy Jarvis trilogy.
Storyline.
Yeah, exactly.
I think this is a lot of people's favorite, if not second favorite, in the franchise.
This would definitely be near the very top. I have a different movie at my like top movie, but it's only because it's the first one that I saw.
Your introduction?
Yeah, my first introduction was the original.
Okay.
And then I saw the third one. And this was, again, at a time when I was just getting into horror, so all of a sudden they were available to me, and I'm like, ooh, let's see these and all that sort of thing. And then a lot of the movie channel we used to get in Canada, which would have the newer ones that were out a lot sooner. So my first was actually, the first full one that I saw was, I want to say it is The New Blood, which is number 7.
Yeah.
With Tina and all that sort of thing. So that was kind of cool. But I quickly got into this trilogy of, 2 out of 3 ain't bad of these Tommy movies and all that sort of thing. The Tommy Jarvis trilogy.
That whole plot fell apart fast kind of deal, but, it's still got a couple good ones out of there.
Exactly. I mean, we're dealing with a one where this basically picks up where part 3 ended. Yes, I was trying to remember. Wait a sec. How does 4 start? And like, all right, his body is brought to the morgue.
Yes,
and then he comes to in the morgue, as one does in these type of stories and all that sort of thing.
Waited.
And exactly. And then basically kills his way through, and then ends up heading back towards the
traveling Jason.
Exactly. That
should was a local morgue and not like
exactly. He wasn't brought to another county or something like that. Yeah, exactly. It's a little easier for him to get home. We do have now we're getting to the point where we're going to repeat some weapons because of course you only have a certain line, but he does come up with some inventive ones. Like I believe his first one is a hacksaw that he uses in the embalming room, which is kind of nice to see. And then he uses a scalpel on the nurse, and then basically takes out a couple of hitchhikers on the way back with a knife. We return to a spear gun, and I believe do we have? I got to look through now. I've got a list of some stuff and all that sort of thing. Let's see here. We got thrown through window and landed on a parked car, which is what happens to Tina. Knife in the back of the head. Yeah, that is a good one. Yeah, knife in the back of the head through a movie screen, right through, which is Ted. Head crush, another head crush by Jason's bare hands, and then we get an axe into the chest through the door for the girl Sarah. There's we end up getting defeated by a machete to the left side of his head, which actually
Corey Feldman.
Yes, exactly, which gives us an iconic wound that carries on from this point on. Yes, it is Corey Feldman.
I have to remind her who he is, and the way I do it is Donatello.
Yeah.
No, that's I mean, that is exactly what it is. It's Donatello. It is definitely So we have a young
thing helps me remember it.
Yes.
Yeah. So we have a young special effects makeup artist in the young Tommy version, who is played by like we said, Corey Feldman. And they basically distract Jason when young Tommy does a makeup job to make himself look like a young Jason to confuse grown-up Jason, and that's where we end up getting the machete into the head and all that sort of thing. So
Troy, if you could come up with a new weapon for Jason to use that you'd like to see, what would it be?
Off the top of my head, I really can't think of anything right now. I mean, I don't think he's actually used. I don't think he's actually come across like any sort of permanent sort of structure that he can use to his advantage, like a guillotine or something like that. I don't know how he'd be able to come into that, but something like that. I mean, one of my favorite deaths is the sleeping bag death. That's always a good classic.
Yeah.
But
remake?
In the '09 or which sleeping bag death?
isn't that in
the space one.
That's a different.
that is in the space one.
There
reason
are multiple
it's in the
sleeping
space
bag
one
deaths.
because yes,
Yeah.
the one from the Jason X is an actual reference to the first one, which I believe is 7. Is it not?
I can't honestly. I'm trying to remember.
You know what? I'm
for
gonna have to.
For me, the '09
yeah.
sleeping bag death was my most memorable one, whereas the Jason X sleeping bag death is the funniest one.
Yes, no, it is definitely the funniest of the two. Yes, that is for sure. That is for sure. So yeah, in this particular season, and this particular version, we actually have Tom Savini standing in as Jason for the hitchhiker death scene, and then it's Ted White doing the majority of Jason's performance. Now we come up to, in my personal opinion, probably the weakest of our Jasons, whereas we are
For all the correct reasons.
yes, exactly, for sure. We are dealing with the non-Jason movie. We have, which is kind of neat that we follow the Tommy Jarvis character, who is now played by John Shepherd, who gets committed to a mental hospital after the events of what happened in the final chapter.
And they had to kind of scrap whatever the original ideas were because Corey Feldman kind of blew up by the time they did this.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. So we're basically dealing with Tommy, an almost sort of grown-up Tommy, a couple of years down the line after the events of the third one in a mental hospital. And we have
halfway house.
Yeah, exactly. And then some guy,
for some reason, in the woods.
Yep. And some guy is
Where
using
else would it
the Jason persona to basically do copycat killing at the for the halfway home.
Yep.
We have, and again, we see a terrified, traumatized Tommy Jarvis get traumatized all over again when this seemingly
now.
He does, yeah, exactly. This one we have quite a few amount of kills. We have a good amount of dream sequences that Tommy goes through.
The first kill, because even the first kill in the movie is not even done by fake Jason.
That's true too. Yes.
Joey.
Yeah.
Oh.
Natasha's favorite character in the entire franchise.
The only thing I remember about this movie, I don't even remember why I like Joey, to be honest with you. I just, he was the first person that I'm like, you know what? I really hope he doesn't die. And I literally...
and I was laughing while he was saying
I literally out loud was like,
He's
wow.
got like 30 seconds left.
I'm like, he's amazing. I want to be his friend. And then, Alma's just like...
I want a chocolate bar.
Yeah. Dude, yeah. I mean, who doesn't want a friend with, all the snacks?
Apparently not them.
Anyway, yeah. And then, literally, as I finished the sentence, he dies. And I was like, okay, you know what? I hate everybody. No, that's it.
Yep.
Yeah. And good old Joey gets good old axe. So yeah.
I haven't gained another angel.
Joey's father is Jason in this one, so
yeah, exactly.
Spoiler alert again from 40 years ago, but
yeah, I think the fact that they revisited that and tried to push off as let's do another series of copycat, it worked for Scream. I don't know how it got to 7, but it worked for Scream. Someone coming back doing the persona of the character. But
I think a big reason that the Scream franchise was successful was because, it not only played to new audiences, but the horror fans, it was kind of made for them.
Yeah.
They kind of wanted to see how it kept going, an adult.
True.
I know.
Yeah, you're all looking at
different, no?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're looking at the era that the movie took place in as well.
Yeah.
And then at this point,
it didn't work in the 80s. It didn't work for Michael Myers. It didn't work for Jason.
Yeah. And they just were churning these movies out back to back to back as getting them into the
needed
theaters.
an icon, and Freddy was domainating, so like you had to keep that.
Yeah, exactly. A couple of other things. We got quite a few machete deaths. We get another head crush, but this time with a leather strap around a tree, which is kind of creative.
Yeah, the tourniquet.
Good.
The
tourniquet. Yeah, tourniquet. Good. Yes, that's what it was. We get a lot of cleavers and, like I said, machetes and whatnot. And then one of the coolest deaths is of Roy himself, the pseudo Jason and all that sort of thing. He gets impaled on a tractor harrow, which is kind of cool and kind of creative way to end off your.
One of the interesting things about him being like the not real Jason as well was like they even went as far as like putting the blue triangles on the mask, instead of the red ones.
Yeah. Just to make it look like
you couldn't get the same one, so
yeah, exactly.
Pick this one up in a shop. But it was honestly, as much as it was like weak Jason, it was a good movie. Like it's not one of my least favorites. I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I enjoy
Joey's in it.
Joey aside, I enjoyed the whole like this was the one where the crazy like redneck lady was like always ticked off at the teenagers running off and doing it on her property.
Oh right, yeah.
Making the stew and all that, and it had a lot of good. I think that was this one, right? That was. Honestly, sometimes I get little parts of 5 and 6 mixed up in my head, but essentially, it was. I don't know. I thought it was entertaining. I liked that. There's a man with no life in his eyes, like that '80s techno.
Yes. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Standout song for me of one of the more memorable scenes, and like just it had some likable characters in it. As weird as it was to replace Tommy Jarvis, Corey Feldman with kind of just a very. I don't mean to be insulting, but it wasn't. It was kind of a stone-faced role, to play.
Yeah, no, for sure. We do, however, improve on Tommy Jarvis's with our next movie.
Yes.
And we're probably going onto the one that I've probably seen the most since after
another one of the most popular choices.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, so that brings us up to the final film in the Tommy Jarvis trilogy, where we're dealing with a now fully grown Tommy, as he has been released from yet another mental institute. In tow, he has a buddy of his, and he's on a mission. He wants to visit, for some strange reason, the buried corpse of Jason Voorhees, to which he convinces his buddy to help him dig up the grave and grab a nearby stake from I guess it's a pole from the nearby.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said steak, like as in like a T-bone steak. I was like,
yes, of course, yeah.
Never mind.
From the fence around the iron fence around the graveyard, stabs into his chest a couple of times, and then we get what is probably the beginning of the mystical version of Jason, as the body is resurrected from lightning. Mm-hmm. And I think this is where we take a turn in the makeup effects too for Jason as well.
We get more of the zombie Jason starts.
Yes, we get more of a non-stoppable, can take a lot of hits and all that sort of thing, take a lot of damage, all thanks to Tommy Jarvis. I think it's because of this, of the zombie version of Jason. The more unkilling, the more cool his costume looks, the more like creature he is, instead of just a guy wearing a hockey mask and a basically a jumpsuit and all that sort of thing. The rotted version of Jason becomes a lot more interesting to watch, how he becomes like a monster instead of a killing man. And I think this is the reason why I've probably watched this one probably more than almost any other one. And he goes on a fantastic killing spree. We start off with like ripping out a heart. Which I believe is a first for the series, where he actually removes someone's heart other than just crushing heads and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So we get a bunch of like stabs and ripped off body parts, and we get a triple decapitation with a machete, which is always a fun thing to see. One of the interesting things I also found about it later on in life is that during my previous podcast, I was actually able to talk to Tom Matthews, who portrays Tommy in this movie, and he filmed both Friday the 13th, Jason Lives, and The Return of the Living Dead back to back. Hence the reason why they were both released in the same year.
Mm-hmm.
So he basically, it's not like he got one job from the other. He just ended up getting 2 horror films in, and both turning out to be iconics, which is a fantastic thing. Which, in the one episode where I have him on, we actually talk a little bit about this movie and his experience working on it and all that sort of thing. But from what I can remember, I think he did this and then The Return of the Living Dead. So it's, if you're going to start off in
2 in a row, right? With
exactly.
With, Return of the Living Dead cast members.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this would be the first of 2. Yep, we have another one coming up later on in Manhattan, and that's going to be.
Wait, no, the one before.
What?
Demon. In part 5.
Oh shoot! Oh my god, I forgot about. Yeah. Oh my god, I took Suicide.
Boy, come on.
I forgot Suicide. Oh my gosh, why did I not have that in my notes? Oh those. Oh my god, why didn't I have that in my notes? Yes, I have to apologize for that. That's right, I forgot.
I almost forgot to mention him because, like I said, I kind of always mix up in my mind somehow, like parts.
Yeah,
parts
no. I know what you're. Yeah.
He was my favorite.
You know what? I completely forgot Mark Ventruni, who unfortunately, shortly after Friday the 13th first, and then he did Return of the Living Dead. He did another movie after that, and then unfortunately, sadly, passed away from. So he did pass away from leukemia at the age of 35.
Okay.
So, yeah. Which he would have been in his like 20s at the time that he did his early 20s when he did both Friday the 13th and Return of the Living Dead. So yeah, and from all purposes of everything that everyone's talked about, that either I talked to or saw interviews and he was a fantastic guy, and everyone really were broken up when he was unfortunately left so early in his career. So yeah. So we end up Jason basically makes his way from his grave back to Camp Crystal Lake, and basically ends up crossing by a bunch of kids renting a cabin by the lake. This is, I think, one of the first ones where we don't actually have kids involved as counselors and all that sort of thing.
Yeah,
they just happen to be. This is also the movie too where they increase the budget for the special effects. This stuff becomes a lot gorier. This stuff becomes a lot more realistic. Some parts are a little bit on the cheesy side and all that sort of thing.
Again,
but that's
I think with a zombie Jason introduction,
it
kind of like goes hand in hand. They were trying to push something new.
Exactly. Yeah. So we are dealing with C.J. Graham is the gentleman who plays Jason for the majority of this sort of thing. The opening graveyard sequence actually is portrayed by Christopher Swift. And the particular paintball scene, which is actually one of my kind of favorite little comedic moments because...
Yeah, totally random. But
exactly, yeah.
Fun.
Jason in this particular sequence is played by Dan Bradley. And this is where we get our triple decapitation with the machete, which is kind of nice. Again, we deal with we get back to the idea of, I think this is where we start to involve the idea of Jason actually being his weak point, not only his mother, but also water as well.
Yes, I think that's where they start talking about water more, which is, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And they believe that it's returning him to where he originally expired is going to be the thing. And again, they do a really inventive way to do this. We have a fight in the middle of the lake in a ring of fire. We get a chain around
There's
Jason's
some
neck.
very cool aspects about a very cheesy, like, way of telling the story. So it's kind of a mix of both. You know, it's got some really cool scenes, some really cool things about it. But it's like, even right from the get-go, you're like, why is this even happening? Like, this guy was like traumatized forever, and now he's just like, let's go get him again.
Yeah, exactly. It does seem like a sort of a weak way to, like, he wants to get his final word in, sort of thing, and then okay, but so like I said, we start off with our now new creature version of Jason, who is becomes unstoppable because of his, Frankenstein-esque reanimation of a corpse, sort of thing, which is kind of neat.
This is the only one I think that doesn't end with Tommy Jarvis becoming evil and then forgetting about it in the next movie.
Yeah, exactly. That is true.
The first two before it both ended with Tommy Jarvis being I'm crazy now, and now I'm going to be Jason. And then they're like, forget all that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this time he is actually released from the mental institute that he was in another mental institute. So I don't know how many different versions of therapy this kid had to go through. But eventually we get to the point where, like, oh, yeah, he can go out and be a normal member of society now. Yeah, of course he can. Yeah,
First thing he does, goes back to the graveyard.
Goes back to the graveyard. Yeah. And desecrates a corpse. I mean, it's, yeah. But again, we're dealing with Tommy being the final girl from this. Being able to defeat Jason by
the so popular final boy that never really works.
No, it's never as satisfying when it's the final boy. Yeah. But again, we get Jason chain link around the neck, very big rock holding him under, and then the propellers into his face.
Yep. Which
is always a nice gory little end to that. What we have to end off our trilogy, and as we obviously know, there is more movies after that. But what we're going to do is we're going to wrap up this particular Friday the 13th episode, and what we're going to do is we're going to save the next 6 films for our follow-up episode in our next Friday the 13th episode. So you're going to have to wait until November, people, where we will take off from where Telekinetic Tina and Cyber Jason and reinvented Voorhees comes back for more.
Lots of cool stuff coming.
Yes, exactly. So thank you, Ahmed, and thank you, Natasha, for joining me for this particular episode. And audience.
No problem.
Check us out next time and see what we're doing for the next 13 Pods of Horror. You have just been listening to 13 Pods of Horror, a Planet Geek production. Please be sure to download, subscribe, share, rate, and review. You can buy us a coffee by going to ko-fi.com/planetgeekpod. On different social medias, you can search for either Planet Geek Productions or Planet Geek Pod. You can also reach out to us via email at planetgeekpod@gmail.com. Thanks for listening. See you next time.